Moments ago, the judge overseeing their federal case in New York, Judge Lyman, ruled on the former B-list actress's request for an additional layer of protection. The unliftable Blake was not happy with the standard protective order in the case. She wanted an attorney's eyes only designation. And the judge has granted that. Congrats to Taylor Swift. Of the judge's ruling, a spokesperson for Delulu says, quote, "Today, the court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court."
Justin Baldoni is currently facing a significant setback in his ongoing legal battle against Blake Lively. A federal judge has ruled in favor of Lively, granting her request for a strict confidentiality order that will restrict access to sensitive information in the case.
The drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has now escalated into a full-blown legal battle, with both stars suing each other over a tangled web of claims that revolve around their collaboration on the 2024 film It Ends With Us. Lively, known for her roles in Gossip Girl and A Simple Favor, claims that Baldoni, the film's director, tried to destroy her career through a smear campaign after she brought forth allegations of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment against him. On the flip side, Baldoni says Lively went too far by exerting control over the production, threatening to withhold promotion unless her demands were met. He also argues that she falsely portrayed their professional relationship to the public, tarnishing his reputation. And while Lively is suing Baldoni for sexual harassment, retaliation, and false slight evasion of privacy, among other claims, Baldoni is countering with a defamation and civil extortion lawsuit, claiming that Lively not only made false allegations against him, but weaponized them to force him into complying with her demands.
This ruling means that certain key pieces of evidence will only be available to attorneys, effectively keeping them away from Baldoni himself and the public eye. The decision was made by Judge Lyman in New York, who addressed Lively's concerns regarding the standard protective order initially in place. Lively argued that the existing order did not provide sufficient protection for her sensitive information.
Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment, followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Ryan Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain things. But this will be tough because the New York Times has never lost a lawsuit in their life, but Justin just released some very piping hot information that seemingly proves that Blake and Ryan Reynolds were colluding with the New York Times for months,
prompting her to seek an attorney's eyes only designation. The judge agreed with her request, recognizing the need for additional safeguards in light of the serious allegations involved. A spokesperson for Lively expressed satisfaction with the court's ruling, stating that it was essential to ensure the free flow of discovery materials without the risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security.
Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal. I'm going to read the 9-page ruling right now. This was emailed out.
Just when people thought Justin Baldoni was finally the bad guy, Blake Lively proved she will always be the bad guy. Justin Baldoni just released a piece of the puzzle that will destroy Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Colleen Hoover, Taylor Swift, the New York Times. He's killing 5 birds with 1 stone, and they're all getting exposed as liars. So grab your florals and buckle up for all this tea. Throughout this whole campaign, the public has been pretty sternly on Team Justin, but after Justin put out a voicemail that he sent to Blake Lively at 2 a.m. talking about a baby on her boob and he can't wait to spend more time with her, their chemistry is amazing, people thought maybe we should be on Team Blake.
I'm gonna stop rambling because Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so fuck me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob and you're listening to me ramble at 2 a.m. I can't wait to spend more time with you. Oh.
Blake and Ryan Reynolds were getting bothered by him releasing so much that they asked a judge to put a gag order on Justin to shut him up because they were gagged. Their lawyer said that Justin has further made it clear that his priority is completely torpedoing Blake Lively's career for the rest of her life. And this could actually all be over in 3 days because Blake and Ryan just asked a judge to dismiss this whole court case because they are trying anything to get this to stop because it's ruining their career.
With this order in place, Lively can now move forward in the discovery process, gathering more evidence to support her claims against Baldoni. Lively has accused Baldoni of sexual harassment, alleging that he attempted to orchestrate a public relations smear campaign to cover up his actions.
We have information and belief that the ex-CIA agent working for Blake Lively is using tactics to divide and conquer as new articles come out, sort of weaponizing the political ideologies that might be trying to dismantle beliefs involved in this case. What does that mean? They're trying to keep us fighting with each other, not with our eyes on the prize. We'll have all of that information coming to you right after this. But first, here it is, the court case. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. Last week, it's been about a week or so. Last Thursday, this hearing happened. And again, this is to find out if Blake Lively's discovery would be allowed, or if she'd be, her plan was to say, due to the PR nature and the salacious tendency of people to pick up on every part of a story, we don't think we should have to present some of our text messages in discovery with our high-profile clients, that being Taylor Swift and whoever else. Some people say Bradley Cooper and whatever other friends of Blake Lively might get sucked into this.
In a bold and public move, she shared her story in an article titled "We Can Bury Anyone," positioning herself as a victim fighting against a predator in Hollywood. This narrative garnered significant public sympathy, painting Lively as a courageous figure standing up against misconduct in the industry. In response to Lively's allegations, Baldoni and his legal team launched a counteroffensive, filing a lawsuit against the New York Times. They claimed that the article was part of a coordinated effort by Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, to damage Baldoni's reputation.
Justin Baldoni's side argued that they think that she shouldn't receive any preferential treatment because she's famous, and we need to see all this information. We'll redact it, we'll keep it from the public, and they say, no, you'll leak it. So here's what the judge has to say. Blake Lively versus plaintiff, which is Wayfair Studios, and then we have Wayfair Studios, plaintiff versus Blake Lively. So they're kind of both suing each other, so it's all in one. Judge Lehman, United States District Judge, whereas all of the, and by the way, he's going to be able to issue like a full protective order or partial, so we're going to have to just see what this is all about. Whereas all of the parties to this action, collectively the parties and individually a party, request that this court issue a protective order pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 26C to protect the confidentiality of certain non-public and confidential material that will be exchanged pursuant to and during the course of discovery in this case. Whereas the parties acknowledge that this protective order does not confer blanket protections on all disclosures or responses to discovery, and that the protection it affords only extends to the limited information or items that are entitled under the applicable legal principles to confidential treatment. Whereas the parties further acknowledge that this protective order does not create entitlement to file confidential information under seal, and whereas in light of these acknowledgments and based on the representations of the parties that discovery in this case will involve confidential documents or information the public disclosure of which will cause harm to the producing person.
The lawsuit alleges that the Times published the piece based on a financial arrangement with Reynolds, suggesting a multi-layered scheme to undermine Baldoni. The New York Times has a strong reputation in legal matters, having never lost a lawsuit, which makes Baldoni's case particularly challenging.
Baldoni started editing the footage that had already been shot. But that's when Lively apparently expressed a strong interest in accessing the raw dailies. These are usually unshared with the cast, according to Baldoni. But Lively apparently also wanted to have a hand in the editing process, and a text from her appears to read, "Hey, would you mind giving me access to the dailies? I appreciate you may be too slam right now to make this happen, but maybe someone else can facilitate?" And just to put a point on this, dailies are a critical point of the filmmaking process, the editing process. The actors don't typically get access to them. If they do, it's usually rare, requires special permission. But here, Lively allegedly repeatedly pushed for access to this because it was evidenced by her follow-up text in July of 2023 that reads, "Please let me know who to reach out to get access to the full gallery of dailies. I'm so looking forward to seeing all that we have in the can." This request allegedly raised some concern among the film's crew. A producer and the CEO of Wayfarer Studios, Jamie Heath, are reportedly shown to be against granting Lively access to the dailies because the messages from the lawsuit reveal their apparent resistance to the idea. There's one that says, "I'd say no, but check her contract first." That's what one producer says. And then a response, supposedly from Heath, says, "It's an absolute no from me as well." This series of texts shows that while Lively seemed to be involved and invested in the production, she was also seen by some crew members as trying to maybe overstep professional boundaries, particularly when it comes to the editing process. Baldoni argues that Lively's attempts to control these aspects of the film, like the editing and the wardrobe choices, were part of a broader strategy to manipulate him and assert her power and dominance over this project.
Recent developments have revealed that Lively and Reynolds may have been collaborating with The Times for months, raising questions about the integrity of the reporting. Lively's legal team argued that without the confidentiality protections, sensitive information could be misused, twisted, or leaked, potentially harming her case and intimidating witnesses. The court recognized the validity of these concerns, leading to the judge's ruling. This ruling represents a significant victory for Lively.
It's really destroying Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's image, bro.
What happened?
It all revolves around like fake allegations towards Justin Baldoni, right? So Blake Lively's claiming that there were sexual assault allegations towards Justin Baldoni, and Justin's like, I have all the receipts, I have all the videos. So it's just a lot of drama.
Do you think this is fake beef like Drake and Kendrick?
No, because I think that for either one of them, it's
just
just
trying
like
to sell the movie.
detrimental to their career. You know what I mean?
But it ends with us. I want to make this very clear. Ryan Reynolds, if you get past this clip of us talking about your relationship, just know, I don't care. I still love you, man.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
love your movies. I love everything you did.
I actually hope things get so complicated and terrible for you guys that you guys break up and then I slide into Blake Lively's life.
Allowing her to proceed with the discovery process while safeguarding her claims. However, Baldoni's legal team expressed frustration over the decision.
Unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation.
Justin, if I'm not mistaken, is on vacation right now with his kids in Hawaii. Is he still there? Do you speak to him?
I do speak to him. I speak to him often. I wouldn't call it vacation. I don't think anybody who's been accused of heinous, arguably what are crimes, is on vacation. I think that he is trying to gather with his family and get some semblance of peace.
Arguing that the restrictions hinder their ability to prepare a robust defense. They contend that keeping critical information from Baldoni creates unnecessary complications and disputes, potentially prolonging the litigation process. Public sentiment surrounding the case has been dynamic. Initially, many sided with Baldoni, but the release of a voicemail he sent to Lively discussing personal matters shifted some opinions.
Reveal what really happened. A campaign to tarnish Lively after she alleged that Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director, and Jamie Heath, the producer, had engaged in misconduct while shooting the film.
Now, again, keyword there, the alleged smear campaign, but listen to what Megan herself, the author, says.
In a legal complaint Lively filed on Friday, private text messages and other documents that we've obtained reveal what really happened.
So right there, Chris, that's not an opinion. That's not a maybe. That's not a what really happened. Now, is that going to be problematic for them?
In the voicemail, Baldoni expressed a desire to spend more time with Lively, which led some to reconsider their stance and question the narrative being presented.
My oh my, Justin Baldoni's lawyers have now leaked the official footage of her alleged sexual harassment, and I now need this to go to trial. So the story goes, essentially, he says she didn't even read the book before signing on to the project. Then she read the book and kind of became consumed with it and wanted to basically introduce her own lines and wanted to become a part of the project and rework the script. So she submitted to him her ideas for how to rework the script, and apparently he gave her feedback, essentially saying, like, I really love how passionate you are about this project. Maybe we'll take some of these ideas, but, like, obviously we're not going to take all these ideas because it's our project. And this was not good for Blake.
Balake.
She wrote this. This is her text message back to Justin Baldoni. She wrote, "If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons. For better or worse, but usually for better. Because my dragons also protect those that I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise." Little smiley face. I'm so scared.
In light of Baldoni's actions, Lively and Reynolds sought a gag order against him, claiming that he was intent on damaging Lively's career through public statements and disclosures.
They're going in vouching for the story. That's where they made the mistake. If they would have said, Blake alleges that, or according to Blake, blah, 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 this happened, they'd be protected. But they said, and her title is investigative journalist. So she's investigative journalist for the New York Times. So that is implying that she's done an investigation. She's actually looked in this. We can trust her. We can trust the New York Times. They've done their vetting. That's the representation impliedly that's being made. And she's saying, yes, there's a lawsuit by Blake, but we, the New York Times, have looked into it, and this is what really happened. So now they're stating as a fact, not as an opinion, that this happened, and that's how they're going to get into trouble.
This request underscores the high stakes involved in the case, as both parties navigate the complexities of public perception and legal strategy. As the legal battle unfolds, the stakes continue to rise. Lively's team is focused on gathering evidence without the risk of leaks, while Baldoni's team is left grappling with the implications of the ruling. The judge emphasized the need for caution in handling sensitive materials.
For those who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, that she wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual editor.
Given the serious nature of the allegations involved, the court's decision reflects an understanding of the high-profile nature of the case and the potential for reputational harm. Baldoni's access to evidence is now severely limited, placing him at a distinct disadvantage. His attorneys are exploring options to challenge the ruling.
If I was on the Baldoni side, I'd feel pretty good. I'd feel like, wow, we got almost everything we wanted. I mean, yes, we have, a few things that are attorney's eyes only, but we stopped the Lively attorneys from being able to unilaterally designate anything and everything. And we now have some grounds where we can push back on them if they over-designate things, such as designating highly personal information that is relevant to the case.
Seeking exceptions or appealing certain aspects of the decision. They argue that some restricted materials are critical to his defense and should be accessible to him directly. However, for the time being, the confidentiality order remains in effect, complicating Baldoni's ability to mount a comprehensive defense. The implications of this ruling are profound, as it restricts Baldoni's ability to fully engage with the evidence while
Hey, wait a minute. Lively filed her complaint. The New York Times did a whole piece on this. They claim it was coordinated, that the complaint and the New York Times piece came out at the same time. And Baldoni, by the way, is suing the New York Times too, saying that they presented a misleading story of what happened. The bottom line is they're saying, look, our clients their names have been tarnished. We have a right to respond publicly since Blake Lively made this so public. But again, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds said this is not the way a lawyer should operate. You should not be presenting this this evidence in the public right now. It could inappropriately and materially prejudice a trial. Who's right here?
Well, legally, Lively's right. I mean, since this case now is a federal case, lawyers are bound, quite frankly, to avoid at all cost these kinds of public statements, interviews, etc. I think they're going to get their gag, at least on the participants, which would obviously be the lawyers and perhaps Mr. Baldoni. That's not going to stop it. Emissaries, third parties, friends, other colleagues will bring up carry the torch in this regard. But I think they got a really good legal argument on trying to stop it now. The problem is it might just be too late.
Powering Lively to build her case. The legal showdown is far from over, and the potential for further conflict looms large as both parties prepare for the next phase of the case. Industry insiders are already speculating on the ramifications of this ruling, with some viewing it as a calculated move by Lively's legal team to ensure she has the strongest possible case while keeping Baldoni's side scrambling.
Baldoni writes, an unredacted name, so we don't know who this person is, believes that she will then start to edit the movie and tell me which takes to use if she has access to everything. And another text from him reads, also, this is exactly how the writing process started. She asked if it was okay if she could take a pass at some dialogue tweaks on the rooftop scene. Okay, so Baldoni seems to suggest that he heard from someone else that Lively was planning to take control of the editing process. And when Lively allegedly pressed him on her access to the footage, Baldoni appears to respond politely, but he's also firm. Because look at this text. Regarding dailies, again, this is to Blake Lively. Regarding dailies, obviously you know I want your input. That's why I sent the 5-hour playlist. But at this point, it's too early for me to share all the dailies. Once I am physically in the edit and have touched scenes myself, I'd love to share with you. Lively, however, did not appear to be easily deterred because she allegedly pressed further with this response. Regarding dailies, none of the producers have had access to dailies, it's just you. So Baldoni responds. He clarifies that the dailies were restricted to only the top-level people on the film, responding, no, not just me. Redacted name and Jamie Heath have access to dailies. So this exchange highlights how Baldoni was trying to maintain control over the editing process, but Lively's alleged insistence seemed to grow stronger and stronger from there.
As the situation develops, it is clear that the stakes could not be higher for both parties. Lively's ability to gather evidence without fear of leaks or intimidation gives her a powerful advantage.
Man, I thought we were going to talk about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. That's what I thought we were
about this. Every white person in my life trying to tell me about this shit. I'm like,
it's interesting. This is
I
interesting.
feel like that. I don't give a about that shit.
No, I know you don't give a yet. It's not there yet, but black people are going to start caring soon, but it's not there yet. I know. White guys just started caring this week.
She has been trying to tell me this story for at least a month.
Bro, I'm telling you.
I don't care.
You don't care because you don't know what's going on. The second you find out what's going on, it's going to be the only.
Ryan Reynolds in it because you know I like Deadpool and shit.
Oh, he tried to bring himself in it.
Yep. Really?
Oh, this is crazy. It's too much. It's so deep.
While Baldoni is left to navigate a complex legal landscape with significant restrictions on his access to critical information. The ongoing legal drama continues to evolve, and the next phase of this case could prove to be even more explosive. Baldoni may have lost this round, but he is not going down without a fight. The real question remains, how much more damage will be done before this legal battle reaches its conclusion? As both sides brace for what lies ahead, the public watches closely, eager to see how this high-profile case will unfold.